Hey guys, Jonah here, and I'm back with another beer review. And I was really torn today as to what beer I should do. I was thinking, because I had an American beer yesterday, the Winding Path, should I continue with the same brewery, which I usually do, but that would mean going for a slightly darker beer, or what I have done today and trying to keep the kind of style going, because um, I've had three kind of lager type beers, slightly different, but lager beers. And as we get into sort of September, I think, autumn or fall, if you're in America, autumn here, um, that's when you start going for some darker beers. So I thought, no, I will stick with the lighter beers. And I've gone for this bad boy. Dun, dun, dun. Munich Helles or Helles, a crisp lager with herbal notes, 4.4% ABV, and there's a picture of an iceberg on this bad boy. Now, Helles is usually slightly stronger, so traditionally they kind of start at 4.5 and go upwards of there to about 6. So 4.4 is a little bit low. And we are back on the collaboration brewery. So this time it's a brewery from Greenland called QajaQ or QajaQ, something like that, in combination with the Garden Brewery, obviously. And this one says Greenland's ice is melting faster than any time in the last 12,000 years. Ice loss was around 1 million tons a minute in 2019. So yeah, come on. And it's Pilsner malt, Hallertauer, Helles Fire Club, which is quite cool. Good for the vegans. You get some money back on it if you're in Croatia. Now, the green credentials of the QajaQ brewery, because they're in Greenland, they actually use ice, melted ice, from the Greenland glaciers or ice caps. Hence, I think why they've got this sort of ice thing on the front, although that's an iceberg, but they're using that water or that frozen water because it's ice for their water in their brewing, which is quite cool. They do other things too. Use a lot of bottles apart from this can, and they wash them out and recycle them or reuse them, I should say, not recycle them. There's an article in here about them, which is quite cool. Anyway, let us see what it says on here. So, Munich Helles from QajaQ in Greenland. Um, it says a classic Munich Helles. Well, it isn't. Brewed with German Pilsner malt, Bavarian lager yeast, and noble hops, which is the Hallertauer. Light, bright, crisp, with a delicate, bready, malty character. Chamon. Well, we know, as I said, and I did look it up for a change, this is not a classic because it uses German ingredients, but it's not the right ABV. So, once again, I'm calling Beer 52. Do your due diligence on your writing because I'm not that impressed with some of your writers and articles. They do not speak true. Anyway, let's go dive into this beer. I had a massive rant the other day, and yeah, wow. Don't want to get too much in trouble. Okay, over a finger's head, real fluffy white clouds on top of there. Little bit of a haze, but not so much as the ones we've done from the American beers. You can see me roughly moving about and behind there, although it is slightly hazy. And as we said the other day, that would add to its green credentials. Yeah, because we're not using isinglass, which is made from fish bladders, as we know. Don't know why that works. Or gelatin is the other thing, but obviously gelatin is made from bones, and that won't be good for vegans either. So doing it the natural way is cool. If you're a home brewer, and I've done this before, if you leave a beer for a longer time, it does settle out. It does. But of course, if you're making beer, and especially because this is brewed at the garden brewery, so they want to brew the beer, get it into cans and packaging as quickly as possible, because it's part of a obviously a thing that they're doing. And all of these are looking the same. Ugh, come on, focus, dude. See what's happening? It's focusing on me, even though I'm not in the foreground. There we go. Yeah, so you can tell all of these styles, they are very, very similar. So they're all made at the garden brewery. Okay, let's get in here. Okay, slightly different this time. Less of the apple kind of thing. It's more, I mean, Bavarian yeast, obviously. Like I said, it is kind of bready, doughy, little bit of clove perhaps. It's definitely got that, yeah, that kind of unique lager type aroma. There's no hops, well, there's no dry hopping in this bad boy. So it's going to be that kind of similar German kind of Rhine Hotskebot type aroma. Let's get in there. Oh, yes, that does have that nice sharp bitterness, which is a German style lager. There's a little bit of malts there. I see what they mean. Yeah, I guess bready, but not, when I think bready, I think bread crusts and sort of dark loaves and stuff. This isn't. This is white all the way. Yeah, I wouldn't exactly call it bready. Maybe kind of flour-like and that kind of thing. But definitely not cooked, not baked bread. Maybe doughy. How about that? Because as we know, bread is also made using yeast, although I don't think they'll be using the same kind of yeast. Although I'm reliably informed from my better and lovelier half that her grandfather, who used to homebrew, which is unbelievably cool. I've never actually met him, unfortunately. Although apparently we'd get on. We like brewing, we like beer, and we like motorbikes. But he used to get his yeast for his home brewing from the local baker. He'd actually go and get baker's yeast and then sort of grow it up himself and use it to make beer with. There's a kind of lacing going on there too, although it's not really. It is kind of sticking around, but it's not sticking around the same way as, yeah, a beer like a nice stout or a nice porter, where it literally sticks to the side and gives you a sort of history of your drinking, which I quite like. It's reasonably smooth, actually, quite bitter up front. Wow, and it's a lager, so quite well carbonated. But at the back end, it kind of tapers out and smooths out quite nicely. I've been in Munich myself a couple of times actually, and yeah, wow, those boys, they like beer. They like lager, but you can get darker beers too. Things like the Helles and the Marzen. You can get kind of everywhere, and there's sort of 5 or 6, I think 6 massive breweries that do the Oktoberfest. And they probably do a Marzen as opposed to a Helles, but you can get that kind of beer anyway. Adolf Hitler used to like drinking in Munich back in the day before he went completely bonkers and insane, although perhaps he was always mad. But he used to go to the beer kellers and drink beer and get absolutely shitted and raise the troops when they were drunk. So, whoa, yeah, that is quite a nice beer. As I think I've said before, lager styles are so clean, so crisp, not much to them because they're slightly restricted as to what they can put in, and you're not usually doing things like dry hopping and getting a ridiculous amount of different malts and different hops in there. So some lagers do, but a lot of the time they try and keep it nice and clean, nice and crisp. Not much aroma, shall we say. It's a beer for the summertime, which is kind of why I'm trying to drink a few of them now. Um, then we won't have to worry about them later on. Anyway, it's been Uncle Jonah drinking a lager for you. If you haven't done so, click like, click subscribe. Um, do the honourable thing, and yeah, keep YouTube happy and keep Uncle John happy by clicking that like button down below and turning the bell on, in which case you won't miss any future videos. Anyway, come to the end of this one. Like I say, it's a lager beer. We might mix things up and do something slightly different tomorrow. We'll see how well we go. And until then, guys, drink beer because it makes you smarter. Shum on.